Scott Procter, DNVR. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Obviously, a handful of guys in their final year.
Was he on that show with y'all? I thought I saw him. You did good, man.
Appreciate that, Coach.
You did good.
He got waves in his hair, too.
How's it working with Neely?
It's an experience, to say the least.
Well stated.
Yeah.
Well
Like
stated.
that? Yeah, for sure. Obviously, a handful of guys on this team.
Let's go.
Squad.
Let's go, man. DNVR Buffs Prime Time coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your front race Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. The gang's all back together. Almost, I guess.
And we got hooked up.
Show did.
Shout out to Crocs, man.
Shout out to Crocs, man. Shout out to Squad for hooking up the squad, man.
So Scott Procter rocked the Crocs on the bus the other day, and of course, you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
Crocs, which originated in Boulder, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Reached out to us, said they were fans. Our guy Alex had loves the show, and wanted to hook up the squad with some Crocs. And this is a small percentage of the Crocs that were sent to this office.
No, they looked out. Crocs definitely did their big one with this one, man. Shout out to them, man. I've been rocking Crocs for a minute. I used to be, be part of that crowd where I'm like, I told y'all the story, right? One of my good friends in college, my roommate for 3 years, my top receiver, whatnot, he always had on a pair of Crocs. Like every day, wake up, he in meetings, he in class, he in the calf, always in Crocs. Bro, why? For 2 years, why you always got these on? Then one day I just folded and I grabbed me a pair and I just have never looked back, bro. I've gotten like 2 or 3 since then. I said on the show last week about the pair I was rocking on the show I got in Italy last time I was in Italy. So shout out to Crocs, man. They really took care of the squad. We love to see it.
Love to see it.
Didn't have to go that far to get Crocs, bro.
That's true. I just felt compelled in the moment. I'm like, I guess they out here too. Let me grab these.
You know what they say, when in Rome. Right?
When in Rome, for real.
When in Rome, do as they do in Boulder.
Exactly. All right, let's talk CFP. The committee released their rankings last night. Colorado comes in at 17th, BYU at 6th. Of course, they're still undefeated. Just initial reaction to the Buffs moving up to 17.
It's exactly what we expected, right?
Yep.
We talked about it on the show yesterday, and I said that's where I thought they would be. I think you did too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of just going through it and seeing the way the results unfolded.
Yeah.
And it felt like 17 was the right spot. My main takeaway from this, and I'm probably going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, though, is the rankings kind of irrelevant to us now. Colorado wins out.
Right.
They're in the Big 12 championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could make a case of could they get high enough to be able to sustain a loss to an undefeated team in the Big 12 championship game? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But last week at this time, there was the whole idea of, well, what if Colorado wins out and doesn't make the title game? Could they sneak in at number 12 or something like that?
Yeah.
That no longer exists. You win out, you're in the Big 12 title game. You don't win out, you're out of this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my kind of main reaction that I was taking it in last night.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, man, it's about right. I think this is where they should be, at least at this point. Obviously, with 3 games ahead of them, 3 winnable games ahead of them, they got everything in front of them, everything that they want. I think I'm not too keen on the college football playoff, right, in terms of with the new 12-team format. But
you don't like the 12-team format?
I'm just not too familiar with it, right?
Okay,
I don't know all the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just leaning on y'all in this. Is it possible? Is a first-round bye is one of the 4 highest ranked conference championships. Is that still on the table?
Very much so.
I think so.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you basically would just have to pass Boise State.
Right. And that was kind of my biggest takeaway for last night. I'm like, them at 17 with, again, 3 weeks still left to go. I feel like that's a possibility, getting a first-round bye, and that would be electric.
And I think CU can do it just by doing what they're still doing, by winning.
Yeah.
I think the committee has shown in the last few years, they are going to value the Power 4, Power 5 over the G5. Of course, things are a little different now with the auto bid and everything. But you're only 4 spots away from them at this point.
Right.
So it depends on them. And it also depends on Army. They're sitting there at 24. They're still undefeated as well. So
Army's not going to pass Colorado, though.
no, but in the conversation for well, I guess you're right there from that perspective.
Here's the interesting conversation, and I think you always just you would take the bye, obviously, because it brings you one step closer to a national championship without even having to go on the field.
But
yeah, the 5th highest ranked champion, conference champion, gets the 5 seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And they get the highest ranking of a team that is hosting a playoff game.
Yeah.
Hosting a playoff game, a college football playoff game at Folsom Field.
Are you telling me you would prefer the 5 seed over the first round bye?
I'm not, because I'll just side with the football side of things.
All right.
Because the goal is to hang a banner, right?
For sure.
A second banner, maybe. You want to get as close to the national championship as you possibly can. But I think 10 years from now, we'll probably look back and see, what's a good example? A team like, let's just say Boise. Their moment of hosting and winning a college football playoff game will be that team's favorite moment of that entire decade.
for sure.
Yeah.
And so there's something to be said from that from a fan perspective, but that's with hindsight, you'll look back at that.
Yeah.
Without that, you say give me one step closer to a championship without even having to play a game.
For sure. The last 2 win are number 11, Ole Miss, and then number 12, Boise State right now. Or
Georgia's 12.
no, it's Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, no, Georgia would be out then, because Boise State's the highest rated in this current rankings. They're technically the G5 champion, so Georgia would be out. But CU in this ESPN article, kind of breaking it down, they're given a 91.4 chance to make the conference title game. And as you know, you win that game, you're just automatically in. But they are moving up the rankings.
Yeah.
Showing them love.
And that stuff matters, man. All of this stuff matters from a larger standpoint when it comes to recruiting and stuff. As silly as it sounds, but when you reach out to a kid and you're from Colorado and you're offering them, and you got that 17 next to your name, it just means something more.
Yep.
And then you guys have had it happen to you, right? Where something gets a seed gets planted in your head, and then you notice it over and over and over again. You see a car for the first time, and you're I've never seen that car, and then you see that car 4 times that day.
Yeah.
That kid who hears from Colorado and gets off the phone with probably not Coach Prime quite yet, but let's just say Jay Phil.
Mm-hmm.
And then that night they're watching football. Colorado comes across the bottom line. Colorado, Utah, Saturday, 10 a.m. 17 next to their name. It just carries more weight.
Yep.
And the higher you get, the more weight it carries. So as much as it's all about just winning out right now, this stuff does matter.
We'll get into press conferences from Cash Cleveland, Coach Loadholt, and LaJohntay. But first, we're going to talk about Keaten Wade, because it's an interesting conversation now. It was an interesting conversation when he announced he was going to redshirt a few weeks ago after that Arizona game. But now he's sitting here 3 games in. He's got 1 game left until he truly has to make a decision, right, if he wants to redshirt or not. He's got 3.5 sacks, though. Obviously, most in his career so far, but he's been balling out there, and he's been a mainstay in these pressure packages on rush downs, third downs, when the opposing offense is behind the chains. What would you guys do?
Well, let me start by saying whatever he decides to do, what's best for him, I fully support.
For sure.
But I think even just in the 3 weeks since he came out there, and then the week after that he announced that he was going to redshirt, I think a lot has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at what's remaining in the season right now, he's played in 3. There are 3 games remaining in the season. Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually 4 guaranteed. But after those 3, you could have a Big 12 championship game. You definitely have a bowl game. And Lord knows how many college football playoff games you could potentially have.
Right.
So I think this decision got a little bit muddied since it was probably had 3 weeks ago. And I think there is a world in which you say, look, especially as we get closer here, you're almost getting to a point where you would play 8 games. Mm-hmm. That's a full season. Like, you're going to have a full season of tape. And the goal here is to put out great tape and go to the NFL, right?
Yeah. Right.
If Keaten Wade keeps playing the way that he's played through these 3 games through the next 5, that's NFL-worthy stuff that you've already put out there, and then you've got one more year to keep doing it. You know, he's only a junior.
Yes, he's only a junior, true junior.
Right.
So, again, I'm in full support if he decides, hey, the best thing for me is to redshirt. I want to play 2 more years of college football.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, hey, you're balling, and the stakes just keep getting higher, and the stage just keeps getting bigger. Mm-hmm. Let's keep it rolling.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I definitely see it both ways. But, I mean, he's been balling. You mentioned it, 3.5 sacks, which is second on the team.
Yeah.
And he's only played 3 games.
Yeah.
That's exceptional. And the coolest thing that I've noticed that you out there may have noticed as well is, like, once he kind of broke out with that 2-sack game against Arizona, like, Livingston is kind of created a package for Keaten Wade where he's playing on the second level of the defense at, like, linebacker row. And he's getting a full head start, you know, on whichever, you know, offensive lineman he's targeting. Mm-hmm. That's really cool that Livingston, again, has noticed what Wade is really good at, which is rushing the quarterback, getting to the quarterback, and finishing once you get there, and, you know, creating a package for him and letting him do what he does best. So that's really cool. And, you know, to go to the question at hand, I would, if the plan at the beginning of the season or early in the season was to redshirt that young man, I think that's what they should continue to go with, because I think Coach Prime and this staff felt that they would be in this position or something similar, ready to do something big and ready to, you know, have an opportunity playing in the Big 12 championship game. And now that you're here, I don't think you should really, you know, change your thought process on what you thought was the right thing to do a few weeks ago. And again, it just really, I wrote about, go check it out on DNVR.com, published yesterday, just talking about how Coach Prime is mapping out the future of this program. And the future of this program involves Keaten Wade. And again, he redshirts this year. He has 2 years of eligibility left. I would love to see him continue to grow with a lot of talented young guys on that defense in particular. So that would be my answer. But either way, I'm in favor of it. But Keaten Wade, a steal. And again, another guy, when he committed, when he transferred, right, really flew under the radar.
Yeah, for real.
Wasn't getting a lot of pub love from fans because, you know, he didn't have a lot of tape at Kentucky, but again, it just goes to show that this staff has done an excellent job of not only identifying talent, but retaining talent and helping them, developing it 100%.
Yeah, I think you have a bit of a decision to make this weekend then. I mean, do you play him this weekend? Do you wait for Kansas?
Well, and just real quick, if you were to rest him 2 out of the last 3 games in the regular season, he will get that red shirt.
Yeah.
All the other stuff is extra. So that's an important part to this. He would be able to come back for the Big 12 championship game.
Exactly.
The question is, are the stakes so high that that's a risk?
I mean, I don't think so, because I think you've had Arden Walker has emerged as like an impact player.
Tajay
McCoy's still, you know, back there ready to go. BJ Green's been balling. I mean, Sam Okunlola has been balling. Like,
100%.
We have guys ready and available, and yes, depth is a luxury at this point. And you are going to need depth once you go into December football. But kind of what Scott said, if that was the plan, then that was the plan. Sit him these 2 weeks, you get him back right after that, and he's going to be able to practice and everything, get back into rotation, game shape, whatever you want to call it, and be ready to go for a title game and a bowl/CFP push.
Yeah, if that was the case, if he had to sit out the whole season, including the Big 12 championship game, playoffs, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
We might have to let go of that redshirt idea and have him go. But again, if he just pretty much gets 2 weeks off, to, again, like you said, practice with the team, continue to get reps and be in meetings and whatnot, and then, you know, get 2 weeks to have your body fresh for when it really matters. I think that's valuable.
And if he decides to redshirt, he can still practice in those weeks. It's just he's held out on Saturdays.
Yeah. It might, you could even maybe make it, like, spin it to be a weapon of, like, you're getting fresh legs.
Yeah. Exactly. Which would be dope.
So then I guess the last question on this would be, what games What do you sit him for? What do you play him for?
Yeah.
Play him this week, in my opinion. Let him sit the last 2 regular season games.
I'd play him for Kansas.
I think I would too. You got 2 home games, 1 road game. Kansas is probably the best team left on the schedule.
Yeah, by far.
And definitely the team where a speed rusher is
Against Jalen Daniels.
yeah, the most valuable probably. So
Good point.
it's an interesting kind of conundrum. I'd love to hear the conversations that are going on behind the scenes about this.
No doubt.
Be fascinating. All right, let's take our first break. And shout out to the homies over at Bet365, the best place to bet on football out there. You can get it on those early money line payouts, where if you bet a team on the money line, all they have to do is get up by 17 points or more. That's it. Bet cashes. Even if the opposing team comes about all the way back and wins the football game, your bet still hits over at Bet365. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 and 2 months of Altitude Plus on Bet365. When you sign up with the code DNVR365, just deposit $10, place a bet of $5 or more. You'll get $150 in bonus bets in your account once that bet clears. And you'll get the code to the first 2 months of Altitude Plus, courtesy of our friends at Bet365. Once you have that code, head on over to Altitude Plus, make an account, and redeem it to go ahead and stream. It's a limited time offer, so sign up today. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jake, who do you love?
I cheated, but because I didn't know what the answer would be.
Don't cheat on those you love.
I love everyone. I love Westera Credit Union, though.
Shout out to Westera Credit Union. Go to westeracu.com/smartmoney for more details about the great things they are offering. You got to love working with a credit union because it's a lot more hands-on. And if you're lucky like Jake, they'll become your friends. So, again, check out our friends over at westeracu.com/smartmoney for more details on all of the great offers they have for you. Membership eligibility required, insured by the NCUA. Restrictions and conditions apply.
All right, let's get to press conferences today. The guy was on the podium, Cash Cleveland.
What a guy.
What a come up.
Guy. Crazy come up. But he deserved it. He earned it. And he kind of talked about all of that. You go check all this out on our YouTube channel. But here's him explaining why he came to Colorado as a preferred walk-on and why he's a Buff right now.
Yeah, you know, coming out of high school, I didn't really have a lot of looks. And at the last minute, I was talking to Jordan because I always want to follow him no matter what opportunity I got. And Coach Phil called me and gave me a preferred walk-on, and I knew that's what I wanted to do because I believe in Coach Prime and everything he's doing here and everything he's building here. So the moment I got that call, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And going here with Jordan and doing that with Coach Prime has been the best decision I've ever made.
The preferred walk-on call might end up saving Colorado offensively this year if he ends up starting at center.
Yeah, I mean, pretty crazy, man. And obviously, I think the staff got a good look at Jordan. Got a good look at Cash when they were watching Jordan.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan put in a good word too of hey man, this guy's the true leader of our offensive line or maybe even our offense.
Yeah.
He's got great locker room vibes. Everyone loves him. He would be a valuable addition to the team. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Coach Prime took a liking to Cash day
immediately.
one.
Yeah, immediately.
This coaching staff is elite, man. Because there are a lot of coaching staffs, head coaches, offensive line coaches be like, he's probably a good guy. Jordan, I'm sure that's your boy, but we just can't do that right now.
Right.
Not sure we can do that. But Coach Loadholt, like what he saw on film, obviously, probably like what he saw talking to Cash and getting to know his family and whatnot. And again, when you get somebody in the building in the right spot and you can develop them, you can see somebody like a walk-on true freshman get inserted in a raucous, crazy environment on the road and be just fine. And that's just huge. Again, shout out to Cash. And again, it's like I tweeted after, it's very easy to see why his teammates love him so much.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the smile is infectious, like just a cool dude, and it's just awesome stuff. You love to see that.
And I can't remember the exact details of the story. I'm sure the chat can, or maybe one of you guys can, but it was early, maybe even the first team meeting, and Coach Prime said someone who wants to come up and say a prayer for the team, something along those lines, and it will be very, very easy for a true freshman walk-on to even be like, oh, I could do it, but just like, it's probably not my time. Let me
Right.
just sit back and like blend in for a while here. And I think that's like a lesson for everyone of just like,
Yeah.
you know, almost like avoiding imposter syndrome. Like, no, if you're in the room, you belong in the room.
Yeah.
And if you have an opportunity to speak and there's something you want to say, step up and say it. And that's what Cash did. And like, you know, that's that like football leadership, like, you know, you've just grown up in it. And he knew, you know, that's a part of who he is.
Yep.
And he stepped up and did it. And honestly, like, as crazy as this may sound, like that's the beginning, like that's how this whole thing started.
Oh, absolutely.
And then of course he backed it up with his play on the field, his preparation, you know, knocking it out of the park. Another kind of chapter in the story to me, just from our perspective, was doing that show with Shador. And it was just like so clear the reverence that existed there and like the respect. Again, from Shador, who's a senior, to a true freshman walk-on, like those two guys just hit it off. So this is a rare story and one that I hope gets more coverage. I hope Big Noon does what their own broadcast team said they should do and puts Cash on the set this week, because like, you know, everyone wants to talk about all of the, you know, the star power that Colorado has, and Cash is becoming a star in his own way. But, you know, they want to talk about Jordan, again, deserved. But this is a true freshman walk-on who's making important plays and an impact for this team, and that's a great story in itself.
This is why it's so valuable to heavily scout schools like IMG Academy. Sure, you're going to get your Jordan Seatons, your Owusu Boatangs, your London Merritts or whatever, you know, the high-profile recruits, but you're also going to find guys like Cash Cleveland just by going out there doing the homework.
Just being in the right place.
Yeah, talking to the coaches, watching the tape. Like, this is how you find those guys like Cash
Oh, I thought
Cleveland.
Colorado didn't do their homework on the recruiting
That's
trail.
true, actually. Never mind.
But I just want to say one last thing on this. Does everyone like understand how rare it is for a true freshman walk-on to be playing
At center?
At center.
on the offensive line at that, but anywhere? Usually it takes years for a walk-on
Yes.
to earn the respect and the cachet to get on the field. Like maybe even for special teams.
Well, the only person I could think of is BJ Green. He came to ASU as a freshman walk-on.
He did.
Became a starter.
Yeah.
And look at where he's at now.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not completely unheard of, but it is incredibly rare.
Yep. Yes, I'm wearing green Crocs. Here's Cash talking about how Shador has kind of helped him in this process and just, you know, coming in as the starting center.
Cash, what does it do to your confidence knowing that Shador believes in you, you know, kind of on and off the field?
Yeah, it builds my confidence up a lot. You know, every practice, he knows I know what I'm doing. I know he's doing. So right as he gets the call to me, I get the call to my guys, and we're rolling, and we know what we're doing. And having somebody like that as a quarterback, it's such a blessing.
So, I mean, we obviously saw their relationship in that podcast and stuff, but it's clear when you talk to almost anyone on this offense how big of an asset Shador is, not just being the quarterback, but the leader he is and just how he helps people, you know, not feel the pressure of the moment maybe that you could have felt otherwise.
100%. I mean, the dude is... I think that might be the most underrated part of Shador is his leadership.
It is.
And I mean, each week it's becoming more and more clear through stuff you see on the broadcast, stuff you see on Well Off. And I think Shador really took it upon himself to step up as a vocal leader this year. And I think it's paid off big time for the team.
Yep. Let's go to Coach Loadholt. He was asked about Cash Cleveland and just what he did to basically earn this opportunity that he got.
There's not many freshmen walk-on that get a chance to go play center for the best quarterback in the country. What gave you the confidence that Cash was ready for that moment when he did get in there, and now how have you seen him grow?
Well, the confidence came from just how he's operated since he's gotten here. You know, from the December workouts and spring ball and everything like that. He's one of the best guys in the classroom as well, in our meeting room. So I know he knew what he was doing. I know he's confident in what he does, and that showed up on Saturday. And you know, the first time he took very limited reps with the ones, and then he comes in there and he just don't handle business. So never had a doubt in my mind that he could do it. It's just a matter of giving him that opportunity, and he got it, and he's taking full advantage of it.
And you kind of said it, like acting like you belong, like this is what you have to do when you're like a walk-on freshman. Like, this is probably why Charlie's in the position he's in, because these guys come in, they just work their ass off, man.
Yep.
I think this Cash Cleveland thing is like really big for like two reasons. One of them being, and I had this thought yesterday when I was writing the story about Coach Prime mapping out the future, is that Coach Prime isn't just a football coach, although he is a really good football coach. He is a legitimate program builder. Like, he's legitimately building a program right now. And Cash Cleveland is the latest evidence of that to me, because, again, you're talking about 2/5 of the offensive line on Saturday were true freshmen. You look at the rest of this roster, I think there's at least one guy at every single position with multiple years of eligibility left that we've already seen do it out there on the field that you have to be excited about. I'm thinking about the running back room, where 86% of the production this season are sophomores, pretty much, and freshmen, including Michael Welch.
Yeah.
You look at receiver, I don't even think I really need to go there. We know that there's a ton of young talent. I mean, in the defensive side of the ball, we're talking about Keaten Wade, who, again, if he redshirts, has multiple years of eligibility left. Samuel Okamola was a week 1 starter, and he's a redshirt sophomore.
Yep.
At linebacker, maybe the not as deepest room in terms of young depth, but Jalen Wester, I think, is going to be a demon next year.
Yep.
And in the secondary, we already talked about DJ McKinney and Colton Hood, but I just think, again, with the coaching staff and the young talent on this team,
Carter Stoutmeyer, too.
Carter Stoutmeyer as well. Cash Cleveland, again, just being evidence of Deion Sanders building a program in Boulder, Colorado. Not just a really good football team in 2024, but a program that's going to be around in the national conversation for years to come. And also, too, another reason I think this Cash Cleveland story is big, and he kind of alluded to it in the presser today, if Colorado can become the destination for IMG stars,
Oh, yeah.
that's going to be scary for the rest of college football. So
They're a top 5 team in the high school ranks nationally right now.
Yeah. Well, and I think that they deserve a bit of credit, too, for Cash being who Cash is.
oh,
Sure,
yeah.
of course.
In terms of just his preparation.
He talked
the way
about that today,
Yeah,
too.
the way that he, is just so ready for this moment. When you go to IMG, you're going to a football factory, really an athletics factory. And they're going to prepare you for this type of stuff the same way that I think going to Colorado prepares you for being in the league.
Yeah.
And I think over time, that will also really shine itself through, is how these guys who come to Colorado are getting to the league with a much higher level of preparedness for what's going to be thrown at them.
That's a good point, bro, because I feel like part of the reason Alabama became Alabama, the last decade plus ago, was because it's like, if you go there and ball, you going to be a first-round, second-round NFL draft pick,
Right.
where it's like they had Crimson Tide players in the draft every single year. If Colorado is that place a couple years from now, which it looks like, starting this year, they're at least going to have two, but definitely more than that. That's going to be another, very important factor when it comes to recruiting in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, look, DJ has that type of high level capability. I truly believe Jordan Seaton would be a first round pick this year.
And it's like the spotlight is just nowhere else like it here. Like, I was thinking about it last week, and I meant to mention it, but like DJ McKinney up on the podium, like he's being talked about like a first round, potentially, cornerback. And last year, who was talking about DJ McKinney in that light? Not that he didn't have it, but that boy was at Oklahoma State, on a good team. But it's just a different light when you come to Colorado and ball under Coach Prime like he has in particular.
I mean, to go back to your point about Alabama, I mean, that was one of Coach Prime's biggest mentors was Nick Saban, right? He said he loves talking to him just to learn about anything about what he's doing in terms of being a football coach at the college level. And if you cement this pipeline, that I think the foundation's already been laid. It's been there, obviously, since Jordan came here. But it's just a clear, you go to IMG, you go to CU, you go to the league type thing. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of becomes automatic.
Facts.
Well, and, you mentioned the two true freshmen playing on this line. That's the same line, and it hasn't been Cash the whole time, but that's the same line that has the 5th best pass blocking grade in the country over the last 4 weeks.
And Jordan Seaton hasn't allowed a pressure in 3 weeks.
This
Lockdown.
What? This dude is unbelievable. Like, it's actually gotten to the point, and this is what you want from an offensive lineman. Like, you don't even look over there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You just take him for granted because
Yep.
you're like, oh, that's locked up.
Yep.
And it's almost unfair to him because it's like he should probably be getting praise on every play.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But
should.
it's just when you're an offensive lineman, like if they're not saying your name, that's a good thing.
100%.
And yeah, I mean, those two. And speaking of like building a program, this whole offensive line has remaining eligibility.
Oh, yeah.
Except for maybe Justin Mayers.
Yeah,
I believe
think
he's a grad. Yeah.
Yep.
But outside of that,
Philip Houston was like a sophomore last year.
yes. Khalil Benson Jr.
Yeah.
Even Hank.
Tyler
Brown's coming back most likely. So it's pretty wild. And what a great selling point for Juju Lewis.
I almost tweeted it, but like, and it's not being facetious. I think Colorado might be walking into the best situation in college football if he chose the Buffaloes. Again, all the things we just mentioned with the young talent, the coaching staff, the spotlight. It might be the best situation in college football for a quarterback.
All right, let's take our next break, and then we'll get to LaJohntay's press conference and a couple more things just going on. Shout out to our friends over at BetterHelp. We all need someone to talk to. It's getting to that stressful time of the year, holidays, just a lot going on in our lives. And hit up our friends at BetterHelp if you ever thought that you need to talk to someone. It's online therapy. You can do it conveniently around your entire schedule. You can change therapists at any time. All you got to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, and then you will get matched with a therapist. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/DNVR today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DNVR.
Chat is wilding right now.
Always wild.
Also, shout out to Kurzlat.
Kurzlat.
It's Wednesday, but that means, we're one day away from the unofficial start of the weekend, which is Thursday.
Yep.
So you might as well swing by your local liquor store and grab yourself a 24-pack of Kurzlat for the weekend. Can't think of a better way to be prepared. Honestly, like that IMG preparedness, having your fridge stocked on Wednesday. So shout out to Kurzlat for their support of us and also for being the most drinkable beer. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to KoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Are you laughing at Wade?
I'm laughing at Reef.
What did Reef say?
Reef said Piccolo 9s.
Oh my God.
Dead.
That's so good.
The best one I saw was you guys made Jake put his feet under the table.
I didn't. It's just the shot.
Yeah,
I
mine.
throw my Crocs up. You don't have to ask me twice.
I'd have mine on the table right now if I could, if that was an option.
All right.
Jake's got those things in sport mode though. He's ready.
do.
He's
Ready to take
in
off.
case shit goes down.
You never know, man. All right, let's talk about what LaJohntay said. A lot of talk about his number last week. Coach Prime gave him the 1. He goes out for pregame Texas Tech. He's in the 10 still. Mm-hmm. What's going on? Well, LaJohntay explained the situation.
Well, wait. First, everyone started Googling, can you change numbers in the middle of the season? It says NCAA rule says you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So then we were like, oh, that sucks. We kind of let it go. But then it came back up. Okay.
Can you switch mid-season?
I gotta handle some academic things and then I can get it. But it's just some academic things that I have to handle, and then Coach Prime gonna let me be able to wear. Gotcha. Hopefully, Lord's willing, this Saturday.
So yeah, I heard it was an NCAA rule. That's what I thought the situation was, and then LaJohntay goes and says it's something academically. And then I asked someone from CU after the press conference, and he said they didn't know. They thought it was an NCAA rule.
Okay, well, there's definitely not a hard and fast NCAA rule about changing your number in the middle of the season because literally Daniel Gerlach did it. Yeah. So, I don't know what the fine print is on that rule, but I think that if they want to get LaJohntay in 1, they can.
Me too.
And they'll might have to use a loophole or something. but I think they can make it happen. And I very much believe in LaJohntay to take care of whatever academic stuff he has to get taken care of to make that happen.
And just going back to my point, man, Deion Sanders is building a program. He's not just coaching the football team. LaJohntay has done everything right from a football player's perspective, on the field, on game day, at practice, being a leader in the receiver room. But if you're not 100% right, at least the coach prime standing in the classroom, we got to have you wait until you get to that level. And again, that's just a mark of a disciplined coach who is really running his program the right way. And also, too, shout out Buff Nation for the reaction to that tweet, at least on my tweet talking about that LaJohntay story, because people just talking about LaJohntay. I do your homework, bro. I got it. Don't need trip. And that's just so cool to me. And also, too, I think it just speaks to LaJohntay's character as well, being willing to admit something like that. Like, some people might be embarrassed to say that, I don't got my academics all the way in order right now, but I'm going to get it there. And I just think that speaks to his character, because he didn't have to say that. He could have been like, we working on something behind the scenes. He could have went any different route, to answer that question in terms of why he's not wearing number 1, but he kept it 100, and the people respect that, me included.
Yep. I'd say I'll do your homework, but you'd be in more trouble after that.
LaJohntay said he wants to wear it this weekend, so we'll wait
I think
and
he
see.
will.
I hope
telling
so.
you, the second he gets the 1, we're getting a punt return touchdown.
I'd love it. Here's LaJohntay Wester and what he's seen on the tape from Utah in preparation for Saturday's game.
Utah's been very good on defense this year. What are you seeing out of that defense? What makes them so good?
They're aggressive, they're physical, they're going to bring pressure, they trust their DBs, and like I said, their coaches trust their players, and our coaches trust us to be able to make plays, so it'll be a great challenge for us.
They're known as being really physical up front.
Mm-hmm.
What are their DBs? What are you seeing out, like how you're going to be covered?
Man-to-man, handsy, great feet, but we're up for the challenge. They gotta play to our standard. We're not gonna play to that.
So we'll talk a lot more about Utah tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit more about them here in a second. But this is a very good defensive team still.
Yes.
They have a lot of issues on the offensive side of the ball. They're the best third down defense in the country right now. And what's the last time they've allowed more than 20 points? It's been like over a month or something, I think.
It's crazy.
They did against BYU, but before that, I think it was a while. They make games gritty and tough on their opponent, no matter who's starting at quarterback.
Yeah, they definitely want to muddy it up. We'll get more into the film tomorrow, but one thing that you can say for certain is they're blitzing like crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to see if that's what they want to keep doing, but it's basically been the only way they're able to generate pass rush.
Yeah.
And it really threw Jake Retzloff for a loop.
Yep.
I mean, that last series, when it looked like it was about to be over for BYU, it was sack to end it.
Yeah.
Because they were just sending like 0 blitzes at him, and he didn't have the answers. I have a lot of faith in this offensive staff and Shedeur Sanders to find the answers if that's what they want to do. But it's a different challenge, I think, that you're going to see this week. They're definitely tough, but they are blitzing at a crazy rate right now.
Yep.
And I almost wonder if that screen game is going to come back into play.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, RK, because the screen game was cooking last week, particularly on the perimeter. But yeah, like you guys said, this Utah defense is really good. They're allowing the second fewest passing yards per game in the Big 12. They're the third most efficient defense in the Big 12. So, and you mentioned the blitz. I feel like that's also a response to the fact that they got to try to create big plays because their offense isn't necessarily doing it. So they got to try to get sacks, force quarterbacks into turnovers, strip sacks, et cetera, et cetera. So this is going to be another big week for the Colorado offensive line for sure. But again, and also too, even if it takes a quarter for the offense to kind of figure out what this Utah defense is doing, this Colorado defense has proven that, they can shut down just about anybody, especially a Utah team that's playing its, third, fourth string quarterback, perhaps a freshman quarterback. So,
My God. These scores, man. These are some muddy games.
Yeah, Saturday was the first time they allowed over 20 points in like a month.
yeah.
And someone in the comments just pointed out there was a kick return touchdown.
Yeah.
So that wasn't even a defensive 20.
Kyle Whittingham don't play.
I'm skipping a couple here, but like Baylor, Utah, 23-12. Oklahoma State, Utah, 22-19. Arizona, Utah, 23-10. TCU, 13. Utah, 7. Utah, 14. Houston, 17.
Yuck.
And then finally, BYU, 22. Utah, 21. Just slop fest.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if they're able to drag CU down into the mud with them.
They're the 11th best team in the country in terms of points allowed per game at 17.1. Very good defense. But as we mentioned, they're going to have problems on the offensive side of the ball. Yesterday it was reported that Utah quarterback Brandon Rose, after starting his first career game against BYU and playing
Looked good last week, man.
decently.
Yeah, the numbers don't necessarily back that up, but
He was running around.
He had some moxie to him.
He suffered a season-ending injury. So they are now on to their third, fourth, fifth string. I don't know. What was the guy's name again who we played last year?
Luke Batari.
Batari. He's in the conversation. It's Isaac Wilson. Zach Wilson's younger brother who has started and had some rough outings so far this year.
And
Yeah, as I've been saying, Isaac Wilson's really good, and you got to watch out for him. CU has to be on their toes this week because he can strike at any time.
And then, Luke Batari, obviously, I think you just mentioned it, played against Colorado in that game last year.
Yeah.
He threw
Only
10 passes.
Yeah.
6 of 10 throwing the football. So
Honestly, that's more of an indictment on Colorado's struggles to defend the run.
Oh, for sure. That's all they did. They
It
ran.
was really frustrating.
They
to
ran
watch.
Bernard and they just ran. What's his name? The quarterback.
Not to bring back bad memories, but like if I remember correctly, Utah got the ball with like 8 minutes left.
Yeah, and they ran
out
out
the whole clock.
Yeah.
that's nuts.
In a one-score game.
Oh, wow. Wow.
To this point, Isaac Wilson, though, only completing 55% of his passes, has thrown 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, only 6.8 yards per attempt. He has run the ball 45 times for 66 yards. No touchdowns, though. Yeah, we'll get into it a lot tomorrow. Micah Bernard's going to be the guy they have to stop this weekend.
Yeah, from a defensive standpoint, I think this... It's funny because I said this last week, so I'll say it with the caveat of unless the refs allow picking at an insane rate,
Crazy.
this Utah offense plays pretty well into the hands of the way that Robert Livingston wants to call defense.
Did you see they had a running back enter the portal today, too? Like their 4th-string running back?
Yeah.
The vibes can't be great in that locker room right now.
Go listen to Kyle Whittingham talk about, he was asked, like, how do you guys move on from what happened on Saturday? And that sounds like a broken man, bro. He sounds like he can't wait for this season to end.
Yeah, he said it's the hardest season of his coaching career. And he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I said slop fest, as in like
Not heavy dance,
sloppy. Like that's what happens in a sloppy game.
Clean it up, bro.
Mars
This is insane, bro. The chat is on a different. I don't know if I've ever seen them like this. Is this what happens when the Buffs win more and more? You guys just get more and more crazy.
You have "I believe" written in here. I don't know what this means.
That was from yesterday. Remember,
okay.
I gave my speech about how we need to get the "I believe" chant going.
Okay.
It means he believes, bro. That's what it means.
Well, yeah. So you should,
He just puts stuff in the rundown, and I just have to figure it out.
I put it in there because if I don't, then I'll forget. And then if I text you, like, we should talk about this today, there's a chance you forget. So I just put it in there. I'm assuming, like, some point before the show, you'll be like, what's this? And then I'll tell you.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the Keaten Wade one. I didn't see "I believe" still.
You know how some people put, like, sticky notes with affirmations on their bathroom mirror?
Yeah.
That's what you should put, Jake. I believe. Just every day.
I do believe, bro.
Tap it.
Don't need to tell me that. All right, let's take our final break, and then we'll get to the chat. Get your questions in now. We will get to them here very, very shortly.
Damn.
Shout out to the homies at Circle K.
For real.
Man, can't say enough good things about them. They literally kept us going. They got us lunch on our way down there, basically, because everything was snowed over. We were stuck on the freeway for forever. And I don't think I've had a better ham sandwich in my life. I'm being honest.
Ham and Swiss.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't I have to talk you into that?
You did.
Oh, my
You
God.
did. It was worth it, though. But shout out Circle K. Stop by there to get all your snacks, drinks, gas, whatever you need to keep you going wherever your next destination is. You can scan that QR code on the screen to join the inner circle, or you can just download the Circle K app and sign up For exclusive offers, new offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded weekly. There's deals on gas. Every fifth 6 item free on a bunch of food, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you join the inner circle.
That's crazy. I love my Toyota. I don't know if you guys know
We
that.
know that.
Can't say enough good things about it. I know you guys know that too. But do you know that there is a unbelievably sexy new 4Runner out there?
I've heard.
Also, the new Tundra goes absolutely crazy. Spence actually got it, and that thing is so spacious on the inside in that cab. So check out all the new offerings from our friends over at Toyota. I promise you, I'm not going to throw any other car companies under the bus, but if you have a different car and then you switch to a Toyota, you will wonder why you waited so long. So visit Front Range Toyota store at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR.
Rough weekend for your boys 2 weekends ago in Brazil.
I hate to see that.
Not a single points finish.
That's not my boys, that's our boys, because that's Toyota's boys.
Well, you said that was your team.
It is. It is.
RK's a Haas racing fan now.
Let's go. Haas for life.
All right, what's up, chat? I don't know what's going on with Preston. I don't know where you guys got this idea that he's out.
Someone said it in the chat, so then everyone.
Okay, yeah,
you can just make an account and say anything in the chat. But we haven't heard an update. On this.
There's no update on Preston.
Don't have an update, but I do remember late in the game saying to you.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it yesterday.
He was like hopping off on one leg, like not putting any, pressure on one leg, but no update.
Yeah, and it's so hard to know from just watching a video.
Oh yeah.
To me, my first view of the video looked like he got like a brutal Charlie horse.
Yeah. See, I didn't actually even see the play or whatever. I just saw live him, hopping off the field on one leg.
Well, we hope Preston is okay.
Oh, no doubt.
If not, thank God Colorado has depth.
Yes, sir.
And it would be interesting to see how they played that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it would be Travis in the slot.
I know Colton Hood will be ready regardless.
Yep.
Kimmy wants to know, RK, would you prefer to be a senior at CU watching this era unfold, or in your spot right now covering this team with all the access?
100% where I am right now. Being a student would be really, really fun too. Especially since I'm pretty sure we've won more games this season than we won in all my years as a student combined.
Damn.
But it's probably not that dire, but it's got to be close. The way that we've been able to be on this journey alongside the team with our viewers and all the people that we've met and all of the different cool places we've got to see and different experiences we've got to have, and hopefully even more to come. Definitely at least a bowl game to come, which will be really fun too. This has been really, really cool, and I think I won't say this myself, but in our company meeting yesterday, our head of content here said that he didn't know it was possible for a group to cover a team the way that we have done that, and that's a pretty cool thing to have as a feather in our caps.
For sure.
Definitely.
Travis asks, how do Buff season tickets work if we get a home playoff game? I have no idea, brother.
I assume it'll be a lot like other, the Nuggets or the Avs. If you have season tickets, you get first dibs on your seats. It'll probably be expensive.
Yeah.
But that's a good problem to have.
Did y'all watch Shador's interview with Cam and Mace this morning?
Oh, I didn't know he was on that. That's
he
fine.
was on it. That's the podcast with Cameron and Mace.
Oh, okay.
The rappers. I think it's called Is What It Is, right?
Yes.
Is What It Is podcast? Or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I always just see clips.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. So I got to go watch that for sure.
Yeah, Cam was...
Also, Shador had Zlatan on his podcast.
Yeah, that was sick.
Wait, he has what?
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's like a really, really famous soccer player.
Oh.
He's known for having the most insane, first of all, insane goals.
Yes.
First and foremost.
Yes.
After that, he's known for having the most insane, confident quotes.
Okay.
Like
It's like if Coach Prime played soccer almost.
it had like a heavy accent.
Got you.
Well, honestly, even Coach Prime would probably think some of the stuff he said was out of pocket.
I'm sure. Jay says, is Nikhai Hill Green or Rocky Mountain Ray Lewis a film study monster, bone cracking hits, no look INTs, knocking out blockers, all of the above while learning a new system? Is he the best linebacker in the country?
Rocky Mountain Ray Lewis is a dope nickname, not gonna lie.
Best linebacker in the country is saying something. I don't know if I'd put him in that convo, but he's in the upper echelon.
It's hard for me to have these like best in the country convos about too many different positions because we just don't get to see enough games.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
At the very least, we get to see like most of the top quarterbacks play. So, you can have that conversation. But man, I don't even know who people are talking about as the best linebackers in the country because we're locked in on the Buffs on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But I
He
will
up
say,
there though, that's for sure.
Best linebacker in the country might not be playing right now.
who's that?
Harold Perkins at LSU.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I will say this. I feel like all of the good defenses that I watch have a player where they're just like, there he is again,
Yeah.
making a play, and that's been Nikhai.
Damn.
Who's the guy at UNLV? Forget his name, but
Well, you're the UNLV master.
I know.
there.
I forget his name, but he's
No
that
way,
guy
he's
for
asking
them
us
too.
about
I know.
Woodard, Jackson Woodard, I think his name is.
Sure.
He was making a ton of big plays on Ashton Genty and that. So, but like I said, those good defenses usually have a linebacker who sticks out, and Colorado has too.
Definitely.
How's Webb Walker doing? Coach Prime didn't give much of an update, but he said he's home yesterday and he's doing well.
Damn near brought a tear to my eye when I saw the picture of Coach Prime's pregame locker.
So good,
yeah.
man.
And he had the Webb Walker jersey hanging up there. That was pretty
Yep.
cool.
MLN says, any idea how Jimmy Horn is feeling? Is he probable for Saturday game time decision? Coach Prime gave an update yesterday. They said they wanted to wait and see if he can practice tomorrow, but he's just going through treatment right now, so no real update yet. Hopefully by Friday's pregame show, we'll have something for you guys. Jordan asks, I'm coming to the game this Saturday. Any events before the game? Pearl Street. Come hang out with us.
DNVR tailgate, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're doing a cool thing this week especially for people who live down on this side of town. You can hop on a bus here at the DNVR bar, 7 a.m. They'll drive you up to the tailgate, take you from the tailgate to the game, drop you off at the game, and then pick you up at the game afterwards and bring you back here.
Yep.
Ain't it like mimosas and food on the bus too,
Oh, yeah.
damn near?
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, you guys will be living the luxurious bus life. So that's a really cool one. But either way, come swing by the DNVR tailgate. Should be a fun one. We'll be up early. Jake will be cranky. All that good stuff.
Ivan says, will the Buffs get a 100-yard rushing game out of anybody this season? We got 3 games left. I would seriously doubt it. It's just not how this team wins.
I mean, what's crazy that we haven't seen is like a 60-yard run.
That's what I was gonna say. That's
all
the path.
it takes.
That's the path. Yeah, just one huge ripped off run for sure.
So
So it's possible because of that, I think.
We're like at 2 years
Defense
in a row
plays
now.
so far back, though, against this team because they
Yeah.
don't want to
It's
get
true.
beat over the top.
It's true. The rewatch on Tech, I mean, they basically said, went into the game and said, we're not going to allow them to
Yeah.
score a long touchdown through the air.
And again, shout out to Shermer for tapping in the screen game if that's what
Yep.
he's seeing.
Yep.
Love to see a running back slip screen.
Devin says, do you think it might be an issue that LaJohntay has missed so often on deep routes that should be touchdowns?
No.
Yeah, not really.
I don't think it's an issue, but it has happened. I remember one.
That happens with every
No doubt. No doubt.
every wide receiver in the country has tape of plays where they were open down the field and the quarterback didn't see them. And a lot of times it's because of the progression.
Right.
Guys get open all of the time and the quarterback doesn't see them because they're the third or fourth option and their eyes come off the route progression before they get to that option.
No doubt. And we
And I'm not saying that is the case all the time with LaJohntay, but I'm just saying like there's a lot more to the story than just like if you think Shador is not looking for LaJohntay enough or whatever.
we said after the game, man, That man is open every single play.
He really is.
No matter what the route is, short, intermediate, deep, he's getting open.
People are asking what RK stands for. It stands for racks and cars. No,
Jesse,
it's just my name.
Jesse asked, how good is the Utah O-line? What's your prediction as to Travis's game stats?
Well, Utah offensive line just lost another one of their starters last week before the BYU game, arguably their best offensive lineman. So they're banged up, that's for sure.
Trying to get some stats here. Hold on. In terms of rushing the ball, Utah is ranked the 75th team in the country.
In terms of run yards?
Per game.
Wow.
Average per game.
I'm guessing part of that has to do with the fact that they limit possessions. They try to, their games are just not, there's not a lot of going on in them because they do run the ball pretty well.
Yeah, in the Big 12, they're 11th rushing yards per game, 4.3 yards per total. They're actually dead last, Utah is, in rushing touchdowns this season. In the Big 12, that is.
That's crazy.
Only 6 rushing touchdowns this season, which is kind of crazy. UCF has 30.
That's
wild.
Very
Atlanta State Focus asked how many sacks this weekend. 4 or 5 at least.
Oh man. Yeah, I'll put the over under at 4.5, which is a crazy thing to be saying, but I believe it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they lead the conference in sacks. Yeah, I was going to say 5, so I'm with you on the over-under at 4.5.
What are your thoughts about Juju visiting Georgia? Hope he enjoys the game on Saturday.
Yeah, should be a good game to be at.
Yeah, I can't remember if we mentioned this yesterday, but it is an unofficial visit. If I was in Georgia and I was free on Saturday, I'd want to go to Georgia, Tennessee as well.
Yeah.
Where's the DNVR tailgate in relation to the stadium? It's on the corner of 28th and Arapahoe. It's like a 10-15 minute walk to Folsom from there.
I've learned to really love that walk. Cut up the creek path. Takes you right down to that lower entrance of the stadium. I like it.
It's a walk.
I mean, we're in Boulder, Colorado, man. People are hiking, 10 miles.
It's a fine walk. It's fine. Yeah.
Never
like
done
it.
it. Can't
I like
speak
You
on it.
have?
I haven't. I drove.
You didn't want? Oh, you did.
Yeah,
huh?
I drove back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Richie asks, any insight on what uniforms we going with this weekend? I have no idea. We will not know. Ask again on Friday. We might know.
Get him on cam, bro. There you go.
Jay Lay, what is that? Is that what that says? I can't see the name.
think
Jay
so.
Lay says, them Piccolo 9s need some airtime. Shout out, Reef. This will be the first, last, and only time you guys will see this, probably. Unless I bring him on the bus. Maybe I'll bring him on the bus just for old time's sake. Big visit in Colorado. Or coming to Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
5-star offensive lineman Michael Carroll from IMG Academy will be visiting Boulder this weekend. Obviously played with Jordan Seaton on that offensive line. Cash Cleveland as well, I guess. He is currently committed to the University of Alabama. This is the #1 interior offensive lineman in the 2025 recruiting class. 6'6", 315. At least 26 offers.
Jason's got to chill. My goodness.
Tomas with the super chat. Don't let the tortillas and Texas barbecue distract you from the fact that Shilo forced a goal line fumble. Facts. Let him know.
Did y'all talk about that yesterday? Did y'all mention that?
I think we touched on it, but what an absolute
Crazy
robbery.
call.
And
Crazy.
to this day, you have Texas Tech fans online crying about the refs that they had a game stolen from them.
It's embarrassing, bro.
Is Shilo back?
Yes.
That's scary.
Yes.
Scary sight.
Anything else?
That's all I got. I was going to give a hint about the uniforms, but I decided not to.
Do it.
So that means just ask RK tomorrow.
Yep.
And you might get a hint out of him. We'll see you guys tomorrow, chat. Last minute from Big Teasy says, we're not going to let RK get away with cars.
Bro, it's 2024. You can spell things however you want.
That's not true.
I'm dead.
What do you mean? Yes, it is.
Wait, what was the R in cars?
Racks.
Right.
Crazy.
I honestly just had the first thing that came to my mind.
Cars.
What's the first K word that comes to your mind?
Well, that's not a K word, but
I don't know. Kick.
Oh, racks and kicks. Let's go. And Crocs with a K.
At
you
least
could've-
I know
should've
my
said Crocs,
alphabet, my ABCs.
Hey, I'm just, pushing the limits. You can spell things however you want.
We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then, Skull Buffs.
Let's go, Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.